My name's Georgia. I'm the OBR on Holcim PRB. Today I'm going to show you through a bit of my kit bag. Well, first of all, this is for all my personal equipment. This is my Pelican, mostly for all my spares. And then this is the #1 Pelican, and that's where I keep most of my equipment. Let's check it out. All right, main Peli first. But yeah, we're actually editing on iPads. So all of our work is done on here. But I also take my laptop just as a backup. Yeah, laptops can get thrown around pretty hard out there and treated quite awfully, so the iPads are way more indestructible. It can get pretty loud, especially when the wind gets up and the wave state gets up. There's a lot of smashing. So when I'm editing, I've got these nice noise cancelling headphones. And the last thing for the editing bay is Noisy Calm. Is my seasickness pills. I don't tend to get too seasick when I sail, but when I'm sitting downstairs on slamming a mocha with my head in the iPad, yeah, you really need these. And here we've got a couple of Sony A7 models, A7 IV and A7S III, 16-35mm 2.8 lens. That one's an absolute dream. 85mm for the tights. Oftentimes you're not really using more than one camera at once, so really it's one battery that you need and two is backup. And the lens that I use most days is my 24mm 1.4. I love this thing. Like, there's never a day I'm not using this lens. Just as an extra bit of fun, I got a 10mm. I'm only taking 3 camera batteries, one for each camera and one spare. We don't really need much more than that. They're just something where we can cut weight a little bit. Alright, so we're using the DJI Mavic 2. That's our drone. Alright, so we've got this handle that clips on underneath, so we can catch it a lot easier. And the yellow makes it super easy to spot. So the risk of not having that handle on is you can see when I fold this out, when you're catching it, your fingers are actually really close to the blades here. So by putting this handle on the underneath, it really just takes your hands that much further away from the blades and is a really easy, solid way to grip it rather than trying to catch it in underneath like that. It's really important not to hurt yourself out at sea because your closest people that can help you are first your crewmates and second your competition. So this is our first drone. In the backup kit have a second drone and a second controller. So I'm only taking 2 drone batteries, one for each drone, because generally you're not having to fly back-to-back flights all that often. Usually you do one flight every day or every few days depending on the conditions and the direction that you're sailing. What else fun stuff can I do? So in my kit bag, I keep my underwater housing. Pretty simple, pretty lightweight. I can have my neck strap on the outside, so when I'm carrying it around on deck, I can still have both hands for holding on. So to get the spray off the face of the lens, I got these squeegees and cut them in half and tied them on, so I can just squeegee off the water droplets at any time. So actually, any time I take out my water housing, I always throw a GoPro on top of the water housing at the same time. So if I'm shooting stills on that, I'm also capturing video on this. And this is the 360 camera. Whee! What I really like this is putting it on the end of a huge pole and just like walking through crowds and around places. So it makes it look like you're flying a drone, but you can use it in a safer way. This is my favorite mic. At home I've worked a lot with the NTG2s and they're a really good shotgun mic. We got the Dead Cat for blocking wind sounds. Probably sort of one of the best small size shotgun mics on the market that you can get. And then my other go-to is actually my Rode Wireless Go's. I can chuck one of these on, say, the skipper and the bowman and get the audio from both ends of the boat and really get that conversation of what's going on. We got a couple of fast memory cards, micro SDs and backup micro SDs, and then normal SD cards as backups for the main cameras. So actually one of my most used items is this cloth. I always have it in my pocket. Sensor cleaners and sensing cleaning liquid, because salt water is a killer. A lot of what we do with our equipment is trying to mitigate the risk, because this gear is quite expensive. And it's very hard to get a replacement when you're out there on the water. And even some of the stopovers is actually quite hard to source replacement equipment. So things like the handle and the water housing and the pelican case for the protection, that's all to make sure we mitigate the risk of drowning or damaging our equipment.